Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel and another video this beautiful sunny Friday, the last Friday of January. I wanted to do at least one saving money video. So why is it so hard to save money? Sorry if I keep looking down. I did write some notes as per usual. This is one of my favorite topics, and I know I might sound like a broken record, but I believe that these are worth repeating, and I also believe that anybody can save money no matter what your circumstances are. If you are here watching this video, then you have the tools. You obviously have internet and some kind of device to watch it on. Then you are able to save money. So why can't we save money? Because nothing is going to change if we don't make the changes, if we don't put in the work, and if we truly don't, with our whole heart, our whole soul, and just every part, every ounce of our being, really want to, then we're not going to. So I have 10 ways here that are proven to work to save money, because I know for my own self, I couldn't save a penny for the life of me for years, and now I have more than I've ever had before. So these are tried and true that I have done over and over. So the first one is obviously reduce all of your bills, all of them, especially the big ones like your housing, your vehicles, food, but basically everything. Housing is, if you have a mortgage and a ginormous house that you have to pay to upkeep it, like pay other people to help you do all the work on it, like mowing the grass and all that, and you can't afford it, maybe it's time to move. And a vehicle, if you are paying a loan on a vehicle and you don't have money to pay, or you're borrowing money to pay for your loan, then that car is not your car and you can't afford it. So get a different car or try going without a car. I had to get rid of my car for a brief time in my life and be without a car. Mind you, I was in the city, so it was very doable. Food, there are hundreds of different ways of saving food. I've done multiple videos on that, but I guess the most biggest way is to stop eating out. Because I think a lot of people, when they buy their groceries, and then they decide that they want to eat out, instead of eating what they have, then the food that they have goes to the garbage, and therefore you're spending even more money by throwing your food in the garbage. There's your phone. You can get a different plan. My plan is less than $25 a month. I could even go lower than that if I wanted, but I really like the plan that I have. If you have credit cards, call them. I did this so many times until they finally lowered my interest rates. Right now I'm going to be calling my internet provider. I'm paying almost $80 a month for internet, which I personally think is way too high. And I'm going to try and get that down again. And, my rent is fairly low already, and I barely go anywhere, so I pay barely anything on my vehicle, and I have a 2005 vehicle right now, so the insurance is low. And I have the very highest deductible that you can possibly have on a car, which is $500, which saves me like over that in insurance a year. So basically, go through every one of your bills, make a list, and try to lower them, and you will save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by doing this. Number 2, if you cannot afford something, and by afford, I mean actually paying cash, like out of your your checking account or whatever it is you have, and not dipping into your retirement savings or your long-term, that if you have enough money to buy something, cash, not credit card, not taking out a loan to pay for the loan every month, but have enough money for it. Do not buy it. It is simple as that. It goes literally for anything. It could be a microwave. If you don't have, that money for a microwave, go without. If you need a new dress or something for an event, but you have perfectly good dresses in your closet and you don't have the money, then you just have to make do with what you have. If you want to buy a book but you don't have the money, don't buy it. If your washer breaks and you have to wash clothes by hand for a month, then that is just what you have to do. If you cannot afford it, you cannot pay for it. Buying anything on a credit card is really, unless it is life and death, like if your heater breaks in the middle of winter, where here it's minus 40, and your heater breaks and you're going to freeze to death, then yes, please. But that is, again, a life and death situation. Or if you're in the States and you have to go to the doctors or a hospital because of a medical condition, and here in Canada our healthcare is free, but there it is not, then do that. But if it is not life and death situation, then do not spend the money on it. My next point, this is kind of a joke because my daughter just yesterday was telling me how she was kind of obsessing over this thing that she really wanted. And I told her, well, if you feel like spending money, then it's obvious you're not busy enough. So we started some other projects. She's knitting a blanket now. I got some free yarn or whatever, and I told her to look up a video on YouTube and to start knitting, and she actually is really enjoying it. And I'm braiding some old duvet cover into strips and making a carpet. We are keeping ourselves busy. If you have an urge to spend money on something that is not a need, then you are not busy enough. I mean, unless it's like if you are so busy you cannot do something on your own. But this is just generally, if you're sitting around looking on the internet and wanting to spend money, or if you want to go shopping because you're bored, that's what I mean. Number 4 is, at the very, very least, the very bare minimum, have 2 savings accounts. One for long term that you absolutely cannot touch no matter what, and one for small emergencies. And this is, again, the bare minimum. I have way more than that, but this way, even if you only put $10 a month into your cannot touch long-term savings, then that's all you can afford in that one, and you're putting $25 into your shorter term emergencies, because maybe you have a used car and you know that there's a possibility of your car breaking down and you're going to need that money more right away. Put a little bit more in your short-term savings account, and I guess can also be called like an emergency fund, but have at least 2, one that you cannot touch and one for small emergencies, and just put a little bit of something in each at the very minimum. And then if you want to get into more in depth, like myself, I have a retirement fund, a tax-free savings, and a bunch of sinking funds, and I went over everything that I had in another video of mine. That was my budget in December, I believe. So you can go even more into depth than just 2. But if you don't have any savings right now, I would just start with 2. Number 5 is stop shopping for fun. As I said before, if you are bored and you feel like shopping is going to fill in that time, that is, you're not busy enough. Find something else to do. Find anything. Like I said, I had some free yarn. I gave it to Isabel for her to learn how to knit, and now she's knitting a blanket. Finger knitting, actually. And I was bored, and I made myself a bird feeder because I have this bird seed sitting around for the past year or two, and I have no bird feeder. Instead of going out and buying one, I made one out of a wooden chopstick and an old juice jug that I was going to recycle anyway, and some twine. Find things to do. Replant plants. Clean your house. Bake some bread so that you don't have to buy it. Bake some cookies. I have also videos on all kinds of things that you can do for free, but there are so many different things. You can color, you can draw, you can read a book, you can, I would say browse the internet, but that's kind of dangerous. There you can play board games, you can play video games on your consoles if you have one. You can write up a story, you can do YouTube, you can watch how to do things on YouTube. I mean, there are so many things that you can do. You can organize your closets, your drawers, you can declutter your house. The list goes on and on. And this next tip, number 6, is, I think, an important one too, is limit your grocery shopping to 2 times a month. I know some people say do 1 time a month, but even that I personally think is too much, because we have a family of 4, 2 adults, a teenager, and a toddler, and we can go without I only do shopping once a month, and sometimes not even that. I haven't actually gone grocery shopping, I don't know, for almost 2 months now. Because of everything that's happened. But also, we just have enough. We have enough food. But I would say 2 weeks. There's no way that you couldn't be able to do this unless you have live in where you have absolutely no food storage and one of those tiny little fridges, which some countries do only have those tiny little fridges. But if you have a regular American-sized fridge, you can absolutely do it for 2 weeks. You can buy enough milk to last you 2 weeks, because most milk doesn't expire for at least 2 weeks or a week and a half. And you can even freeze your milk so that you can buy 4 milks. You can buy apples and oranges. Those last for over a month. You can buy berries and what to eat in the first week, and then save that. You can, if you store your food properly, again, I did videos on how to store your food properly, and so that you can keep it for longer, and you can space your shopping trips out. And if you run out of something, then I'm sure you have something else you can use in your house already. Most houses have far more food than we actually need or eat, and stuff ends up getting old or stale and gets thrown out. So if you can say, I have never ever thrown out a morsel of food, then you're doing a really good job. Because even I, on off days, have ended up throwing out something, and it pains me. It literally kills me inside anytime I throw away a piece of fruit or a quarter of a piece of fruit or anything. It literally, a part of me dies when I throw something in the garbage. So limit your grocery shopping to 2 times a month. So every 2 weeks at the very most, and stay out of the shopping. Grocery shopping is so tempting, and there are so many tips on how to lower your grocery bill. But the basic is just use what you have. Use what you have. Eat your leftovers and get creative. Number 7, drive less, period. Just drive less. Obviously, if you live farther away, you have to drive, then yes, drive to work and do home. But don't go out after work driving around doing errands and all kinds of things like that. It's really, really unnecessary. Most of your bill payments can be done online. And, I mean, especially with COVID right now, there shouldn't be a whole lot of things to do anyway. And my daughter was only ever in dance, and that was it. And then she quit because she liked to be home more anyway. You don't need to have your kids in all kinds of extracurricular activities after school. They can be at home and do things at home that are healthy and productive and spend more time with the family. You really don't need to go anywhere. And, yeah, like I said, is go out less, drive less. Just do what you have to do. Go to work and come home. And if you do have to go grocery shopping, maybe plan on your way home so you don't have to leave again, or plan your, if you have maybe 5 errands, plan them all in the same day and do them all in a circle so that you don't have to drive all over. Number 8 is keep your house clean and organized. I know this is very hard, but if your house is not clean and organized, then you shouldn't be buying things anyway, really, right? Because you're going to have nowhere to put them. So they're just going to end up in a bag on the floor, in your closet of your room, or wherever, on your kitchen table, and it's never going to get put away anyway. Keeping your house clean and organized is not only good for your mental health, and if you have a clean and organized home, you're going to feel better, and you're not going to feel like leaving your house. You're not going to have that mental depression where, you know, sometimes people that have a messy home, they feel like spending money because it will make them happy, right? But a clean and organized home, I know, always makes me feel much better than going out and spending money and buying something that's just going to make my home even more messier. And you can find things more easily, so you don't have to double buy them by keeping a clean and organized home. And by going through and cleaning your home regularly and organizing it regularly, you will see everything that you have. You will find things that you thought you lost, and you won't have to rebuy things or stress about having lost things. And it's just all in all one of the best things you could do for yourself or your family in every which way possible. Number 9, this one is almost, I think, the most important one on this entire list, is you have enough. You are enough, and you are richer than most of the population on this world. If you have a home, whether you live in an apartment, a side-by-side, a single house home, whether you own your home or whether you rent your home, if you have a home that is like yours, even if you're renting and it's not technically yours, if you're paying your rent, then it is yours. So if you have a place to live, a roof over, with running water, electricity, heat, and windows to keep the cold out, and furniture, and food in your fridge, in your cabinets, and if you have clothing, if you have shoes, slippers, if you have a car, you are really rich. If you have a bed to sleep in, if you have even a television. Do you know how many people on this world who do not have televisions? If you have a cell phone, a home phone, if you have a computer. So many people in this world do not even have computers. They don't have the internet. They don't have tablets. They don't have little iPods. They don't have any of those fancy little gadgets and gizmos, if you have any of these things, then you are rich. You really are. You might not be a millionaire, but you are rich. Richer than a lot of people. And if you are warm at night when you go to sleep, if you are fed and not in pain because you haven't eaten for days, then you are rich and you have enough. And the last one is to say no. Just say no. Say no to all kinds of things. Say no if you don't have the time to go out to, I don't know, a gathering or whatever it is. I mean, you don't want to say no to everything, but say no to certain things that if it's going to cost you money because you're not going to have time to do your own things at home and you're spending money for doing all these extracurricular activities and going out with friends every night of the week, and they want to go out to eat in restaurants or go watch a movie in a movie theater or whatever it is, just say no. Even when it comes to like schools and stuff like that, I used to like bake cookies and do all kinds of stuff for like the student parent teacher council or whatever. And I mean, I wanted to be involved in the school, but I mean, really, it just ended up costing me that evening that I could have spent with my daughter, because I was going to college and working at that time too. So I quit doing that, and then I would spend even more time away from my daughter by baking and doing all these other things. So I quit volunteering at all these events at the school. The worst thing I ever did probably was volunteer. I thought I was doing a great thing by volunteering at my daughter's, she had like this summer thing at her school where they had all these fun things to do, but I was stuck in the face painting, so I couldn't do any of those fun things with her, and that's what she wanted to do with me. So, I mean, yes, it's good to volunteer, but to an extent, and if you have the time. When you have the money and when you have the time, that is when you should volunteer. If you don't have the time and you don't have the money, then volunteering isn't always the greatest thing to do. That's why you want to save money, is so that you can do these things for other people. Because once you have saved up enough money and you yourself are in a good position where maybe, yes, one night a week you can afford it without having to borrow money, you have maybe some food already ready to go, you can afford to volunteer an evening or a day out of your week and go do things, or you can share with charities of your choice. The options are endless once you're in a good financial position yourself and you have more time. And by not spending all your money, you will have more time, because you're not trying to spend all your time earning money so that you will have more time. I don't know if that makes sense. But my video has gone really long. I hope it helped, and I hope you at least somewhat enjoyed it, and I hope I didn't ramble on too much. I just want you all to know how much I appreciate you, and I love and care for all of you, and I hope you all have a Frugabulous weekend, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. And as always, if you have anything to add, let me know in the comments. I always love hearing from you, and I'm doing my very best to get back to everybody's comments. And I have found comments from years before that were hiding on me, so I'm even getting back to those ones now. So anyway, bye.